Hi, everyone. Welcome to Two Guys Talking Sports. Jordan, let's jump right in.
That was not a second and a half that he asked for, but
It was a whole second.
No.
We're going to talk about college and high school sports in this segment, presented by Anderson Brothers Bank and Dillon Internal Medicine. So let's jump right into it. Off the bat, South Carolina couldn't lose this week. They were on a bye.
Absolutely.
Unlike the Washington football team, who once again lost.
I knew that was coming.
But Clemson did play. Clemson 4-3 took on FSU 3-4 in a game in which they were honoring Bobby Bowden.
Right.
So a lot of nice touches. I think they had some autographs on the field and stuff. Tommy Bowden was back at Clemson for the first time since they let him go. And it was a back and forth game like we thought it was going to be.
Clemson tried to give this one away.
They sure did.
They did everything in their power to give this game away. But they come out 10-point victor.
Yeah.
Covered the spread.
First time all year in the crazy way.
Is their offense rolling?
I don't know. 30-20, but like you said, that really the score was 24-20.
It was.
Because it was that last touchdown was scored on a lateral where Florida State was just trying to make something happen, and Clemson ended up in the end zone. DJ was 19-31, 189, a touchdown and interception, so not much improvement in his game. But the big thing for Clemson,
well, he almost went for 200 yards.
Yeah.
So that if you're a Clemson fan, that is a stepping stone. That's a mile marker that you get to, and maybe this week DJ picks it up.
I think the big thing for them this week though was Will Shipley getting 25 carries, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and that's what they were missing with him out. And when they were really having to put it on DJ's shoulders, he didn't have as much, that he had to carry this week because. That Shipley kid, he's going to be good for a while.
If Will Shipley can stay healthy, he will be a problem.
Yeah, he really will be.
Defenses have a hard time, even with as poorly as Clemson's played this year, defenses have had a hard time containing Will Shipley.
Yeah. There was a lot of comparisons for him to Christian McCaffrey before he came into this season, and at the beginning of the year...
I don't think I want that comparison. If I'm him, I don't think I want that comparison. How many games has McCaffrey played fully healthy since 2019?
Well, I think they were talking more talent-wise.
Right, but I don't put that on me.
Yeah.
Don't put that on me.
But he did look similar to that, and the way that the season's gone, he's already been hurt one time.
That's what I said. Don't put that on me. Find somebody else.
He's kind of living. Well, they put it on him at the beginning of the year, and he's kind of lived up to it this year. But I think this was his best game, and kind of showed that if they run the offense through him, maybe they will squeak out a few more wins here at the end of the year.
A good complete game for him. That 25 carries and those 2 touchdowns.
And I didn't even look at how many receiving yards and catches that he had, but I'm sure that he was used a lot out, in the passing game as well. So a good victory for Clemson. They will take on Louisville this coming up week at 7:30. CCU took on Troy, and I thought this was a game that CCU was going to get back into, what they had been doing throughout the year. They take on Troy. They get a 35-28 victory.
Hard-fought victory.
Yeah. Tough Troy team. They took South Carolina down to the wire. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that really says much or not, but
this makes me think, how good of a football team is Coastal?
Yeah, they've had a rough 2 weeks here.
And still, they've only beat one team that after the game had a winning record.
Yeah. Grayson McCall.
Played one, and they lost.
Lost to App State. Grayson McCall, not his best game efficiency-wise, 14-26. He did have a lot of yards, 294, 2 touchdowns and interception. But what Coastal was able to do in this game that they weren't able to do against App State.
Got back to running the football.
They got back to running the football. Their leading rusher, 14 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown. They had 2 or 3 more with over 50 yards on the ground. So
running back by committee for the Chanticleers.
Yeah, so they got back to what they like to do, and that's run the football and run it well. Coastal Carolina will take on Georgia Southern at 6 o'clock, back on Saturdays after 2 weeks of midweek games.
What's Georgia Southern's record? Do you know off the top of your head?
2-6, I believe.
Right, so that's
2-5 or 2-6, somewhere around there.
That doesn't really help the Coastal football program.
No, but Coastal does climb up a few spots. They went from 24 to 21. South Carolina, they didn't play this week like we mentioned earlier. They will play Florida next week at 7:30. Let's jump into some high school. Last week of the regular season, Dillon took on Manning, 5-0 Dillon, 1-5 Manning, 35-6 win here for the Wildcats. No surprise.
No, their quarterback had 107 passing yards, 8 completions, 12 attempts, 2 touchdowns. Nemo, he's been carrying the Wildcats, except for that one game on the ground all year long. He had 158 rushing yards on 21 attempts and 2 touchdowns. So it looks like Wildcats can get done through the air or on the ground.
Yeah, 35-6. Probably could have been a lot worse than that. I'm sure around halftime or so they went ahead and put in some younger kids to get some rest for those starters because next week starts the playoffs. Dillon was Class 3A Region 7 champ. So congratulations to the Wildcats. Lakeview took on Greensea Floyd. Greensea was 5-1, and you picked the Gators.
You didn't expect that.
I didn't expect this at all.
You do not bet against the Gators at the end of the year.
Yeah, I figured that Lakeview, coming off a tough few weeks, still wasn't completely healthy. Took on Greensea Floyd, and not only did they beat them pretty handily, 36-14. So a good win for the Gators.
The first half, I think the Gators had them shut out.
Yeah. Lakeview, Class 1A, Region 5 champs, so another region champs.
I think they get home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah. I know Dillon will be home next week. I didn't look far in that bracket to see how long, but I know that it do bounce that around. Even though you're a 1 seed, sometimes, you'll end up not getting home field at some point.
From what I've been told, I do believe that Gators have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, that'll be good for them. Lakeview loves playing at home.
They're good at it.
Yeah.
It's tough to beat Lakeview in general, but to beat Lakeview at home in the playoffs, you're really doing something.
With the Amen Corner.
They got rid of the Amen Corner. I asked about it the other day, and they said no, they had to disbar the Amen Corner. They got rid of them.
Officially.
Done. No, they said, that's what I said too. I said, right, officially. They said, it's done.
They police it now. Pulled out that red Solo Cup, you out of here.
You out. You gone.
Well, goodbye to the Amen Corner. So that's the one advantage that they usually had that they don't have anymore. So congratulations to the Gators on another good season, rolling into the playoffs. I expect them to make a run here for another state championship. Marion was on a bye this week, but they did finish the season as the Class 2A Region 7 champs. So congratulations to the Swamp Foxes.
The three of the teams we cover, Marion, Region 2A, are Class 2A Region 7 champs. Lakeview, Class 1A Region 5 champs. Dillon, Class 3A Region 7 champs. I mean, that's a lot of good football in just a little triangle.
For sure. And you're covering it in 3 different classes so far. But every team that we covered made the playoffs this year. Speaking of that, Mullins 2-4 on a bye made the playoffs.
See, that's good for Mullins. Mullins, it gives them a chance to get healthy.
Yeah,
they're gonna come back. They're gonna be focused. Look for Mullins to maybe squeak out a win in the playoffs. I'd like to see it happen.
No, that's not going to happen. They're going to take on a pretty tough team this coming up week. Latta 1-7 went down to Johnsonville 3-3. Took a loss 42-27. No surprise there. Biggest surprise, made the playoffs.
I don't understand that. We were texting about it earlier, and I was like, Stephen, I don't understand.
Made the playoffs.
A 1-win team makes playoffs.
Basically, I guess they say if you guys got shoulder pads and a heartbeat, you win.
Well, they made the playoffs.
So I guess congratulations to the Vikings. Moving on to the playoffs, they will have to take on Sherrall next week, so at least they don't have to travel too far. PD Academy took on Carolina, 42-0 victory.
That was expected.
Yep, that was expected. They did fall a game shy of being region champs, so that would have been another one.
It was that Williamsburg game.
Yep, sure was. But PD will be in the playoffs and look for them to make a run. DCS took on Kings Academy. They finished off the season, the regular season.
Another 1-win team.
Yep. 44-6. Well, actually 2-win team now because they picked up a win this week.
Right. Okay.
So there'll be 2-7 on the year. Made the playoffs.
We can get into that on
a little bit of controversy in that
on Thursday.
Yeah. So that wraps our recap up for college and high school. We're actually going to do our picks episode this Thursday night at 8 o'clock. So join us then. That way you can hear our upcoming thoughts on this week's first round of the playoffs and also college football. So we'll see you then.
Welcome to Two Guys Talking Sports. Stephen, there's a lot of controversy about high school football right now, but we won't get into that yet. Let's jump straight into college.
Let's mention our sponsors first.
Mention them.
City of Dillon Wellness Center and Golf Course.
You got my sheet all messed up. You got it scribbled out, so I don't even know who it is.
And also First Citizens Bank. Thank you for your sponsorship. All right, let's jump into it.
Coastal Carolina goes down to Georgia Southern.
Still the only ranked team in South Carolina.
Yeah,
Barely.
barely. So Coastal was a 20-point favorite against Georgia Southern. That tells me that Georgia Southern's not a good football team.
Yeah, not a very good football team. This is the same Georgia Southern team that one of their best players was kicked off of the team because he was on the bus and somebody threw him a beer and he cracked it open and drank it 30 minutes before they were supposed to go into a game.
Very disciplined. You're seeing a lot of that lately.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Coastal to cover.
Yeah. I'm taking Coastal with style points.
Yeah. They've had a rough 2 weeks. They've played some tougher competition. They're going to drop back down to some lower competition. I think they'll cover this
week. They excel against lower competition. South Carolina at home against a 4-4 Florida team, and Florida's an 18-point favorite.
Florida's they're not bad, but they're not great.
What are the Gamecocks?
They're bad.
Real bad.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're an 18-point underdog bad.
Yeah, I believe they are. I don't know. Who's going to play quarterback this week?
If it was up to me, I would go with Jason Brown because he can move. Zeb Nolan, he's going to give you more ability, I think, with his arm. I haven't
seen the report.
He practiced.
He practiced.
Zeb Nolan did.
Clear?
Yeah, he did practice earlier this week, and he's cleared to play, but they've already said he can't move much. So it's kind of he's in the pocket.
He hasn't been able to move much all year. That doesn't change anything.
Well, he's moving even less than that. It's almost like he's concrete.
So what's he got, like a 3-step drop, 5-step drop, and that's his bag of tricks?
That's it.
Okay.
So if it was me, I would go with Jason Brown. And again, at this point, you're 4-4. You're just trying to do anything.
You got to find 2 wins if you want to be bowl eligible.
Right.
And I don't.
Mobility is going to give you the best opportunity to.
So you're saying the Gamecocks is going to beat the Gators this week? That's what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if they want a chance, they got to play Jason Brown.
Yeah, just like right before the Texas A&M game, you texted me and said Gamecocks are going to win this football game. Boy, you were wrong.
Well,
wishful thinking.
I was also watching baseball then.
Clemson goes down to Louisville.
We didn't make I'm picking the Gamecocks to beat the spread.
Okay, so you're taking the Gators. Yeah, I'm taking the Gators too. Clemson goes down to Louisville. 5-3 Clemson and 4-4 Louisville. 7:30 kickoff, and Clemson is the favorite -4. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm gonna take the Cardinals too. There's a Dillon product on that team as well. I'm not sure. I tried to find the stats. I couldn't really find much, but he has been used quite a bit this year.
He's got plenty of playing time this year.
I'm hoping that he shows out on this one.
Yeah,
I hope that it's a Dillon boy that goes down there.
To say, listen, this much talent was in
your state,
and you didn't
want it. And the Gamecocks didn't either.
That don't surprise me, Steve.
No,
that don't surprise me.
But for Clemson, yeah, they're getting a chance to play against him. I want him to go out there and say, "Look, I was right there. You didn't want me. I came here, and now I'm going off on you." I'm taking the Cardinals. They're at home as well. Mm-hmm. Clemson is still struggling despite the loss.
Football team.
Even though they won by 10, they really didn't win by 10 last week. They scored a fluke touchdown on a team that was just throwing the ball around the field.
It made somebody that took them happy.
Yeah, that was the first time they beat the spread all year, and that's how they did it. So, but yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals on this one.
All right, let's jump into high school.
Round 1.
Yeah. So we got Dillon versus Fox Creek, which you got here is in North Augusta.
Yeah. Usually when we get to the playoffs, we've always mentioned these schools that we've never heard of, and then we debate about where they are. So I figured I'd give us a little bit of insight of where they're at. So Fox Creek's going to have to make a long trip to catch an L.
Okay. So let's just pause right there for a second. All the teams made the playoffs.
Yes.
Which ones do you think have the best chance to win a state championship?
Let's see, we cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. I think there's 2 teams that have a good chance to win it.
I think there's 4 teams that have a good chance to win it.
Well, excuse me. I think there's 3 teams that have a chance to win it.
So I like Dillon, I like Lakeview, I like Marion, and I like PD. I like all of them's chance to win it. Now, of course, if you're talking about odds, some of them have a little better odds than others to win it, but I think all 4 of them are competitors. Yeah,
I do too. I think the toughest one is going to be Marion. I think that they're going to have the toughest
road.
Yeah, and they've already had those games that were iffy that they squeaked out of. You can't really have those in the playoffs. I think that Dillon, you might as well go and check it off. I think that they'll win state championship. Lakeview, I think they have the next best chance of winning. PD, I think they have a really good chance of winning it. And then Marion would probably be 4th.
So that's how you would take it: Wildcats, Gators, Eagles, Swamp Foxes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump back into the picks. Lakeview 8-2 takes on East Steel 3-7.
And East Steel, they're in East Steel, and that's down there, kind of near the state line, like you're going towards Savannah. That's their area. I couldn't find any other big cities in the state of South Carolina around.
So they're traveling
long way.
Well, maybe they can
catch a ride.
In East Steel, maybe they can catch a ride together.
And meet up on the interstate.
Throw the L on top of the bus, take it back.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna take the Gators on this one. Marion 8-0, Barnwell 6-4. A little bit better competition there.
Yeah, see, like I said, you look at Dillon, they're taking on a 4-4 opponent. Lakeview's taking on a 3-7 opponent. Right out the gate, Marion's taking on a team that's one more than they lost.
Right.
So that's why I believe, they're going to have the toughest road to go. I think that them being at home this week, they're going to get the win this week.
Yeah, I'm going with the Swamp Foxes as well. Mullins goes down to Philip Simmons. It's in Charleston in Berkeley County. Yeah. And it's a 2-4 Mullins taking on a 9-1 Philip Simmons. I hate to say it, but this might be the end of the road for Auctioneers.
What you talking about on Tuesday? You said they might be able to squeak out a win.
Right. Yeah, I didn't realize that they were playing Philip Simmons. So.
Yeah, I told you they're going to have to go down and they're going to come back limping. Philip Simmons with the win here.
Yeah, I'm taking Philip Simmons. 1-8 Latta goes. They don't have to go as far. They just got to go right there to Sherrall to take on a 6-3 Sherrall team. Historically, the Braves have been good. Yeah. They've always been. I know over the past couple of years they've been a little down, but historically, Sherrall is a strong football team. So with that being said, I'm gonna take the Braves.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Braves as well. And luckily for Latta, out of all the teams that do have to travel, they traveling the least furthest. I'm taking Sherrall. We're still not even sure how Latta got in there. Like I said, I think
Congrats to the Vikings, though.
Yeah, congrats to the Vikings. If anything, it's good for the seniors because they get another week to play.
One more game.
And as a senior, you always want one more week.
PD Academy is at home against John Paul II.
Yeah, I'm going to take PD.
Yeah, not to be confused with John Paul III.
No, or the first.
Yeah, John Paul II. Yeah, give me the Eagles, 7-1 team taking on a 4-5 John Paul team. I don't know much about John Paul, but Eagles are scoring, as they like to say.
And in Skeeza, it's win 2, you're in the state championship round. So this one will put them one step closer. You win this week, win next week, and then you're right back to where you want to be. Another chance to get that state championship game.
All right, so here's the controversial one. So a 2-7 Dillon Christian is supposed to go down to a 9-1 Thomas Hayward. Dillon Christian makes it into playoffs.
Your alma mater.
I think everybody in this room graduated from Dillon Christian. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right, so these seniors get another chance to play. They get one more game. They get a state championship. Who knows, man? Maybe something crazy happens. You go down there and win a football game. I mean,
any given Friday night.
That's why you snap the football. Decides to forfeit the football game.
Yep. A lot of controversy today. A lot of group text messages, especially between former players.
Right.
That went to DCS, who like me, we went through a season where we were 2-9.
Right.
We had only had 2 seniors. We had lost 2 of our best junior players. We still loaded up the bus and we went down there and we took our licking.
Yeah. That decision doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I can see some of it. of it.
You have players hurt. You don't want to injure your younger players.
Young players. But
I don't
with the seniors, like you said, with the seniors, this is it. Most of them won't go on to play college football. This is your last opportunity to strap up your helmet and go out there with the guys you grew up with and the guys that you've spent every day practicing with.
What would sound better to you? Yeah, my last high school football game we got beat in the playoffs, or my last high school football game we forfeited.
Like I said, we were 2-9 my sophomore year, and we went down and we took our licking 40-0. But we got on that bus, and at least you can go out and say that we didn't just give it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation about whose decision it was. Why was the decision made? I can't really sit here and comment on all that because I don't know. I would like to have a better understanding from some of the players or some of the coaching staff. I don't understand it, but maybe they have their reasons.
Yeah, and like I said, some of the reasons may be very valid, but at the end of the day, I think there's just some lessons that you can teach the kids that, even though it looks like a very daunting situation and,
you learn a lot of lessons in defeat.
Exactly. And that's why football is the sport, that people always look to for the life lessons.
Right.
I loved playing baseball, but I didn't learn as many lessons playing baseball as I did playing football, because there's, in baseball you might strike out and, you got to get over that. But in football, sometimes somebody's going to pop you in the mouth and you got to get right back up.
Right. Like I said, it's just very, very controversial today.
Yeah, very controversial. But of the 7 teams who played, they did make the playoffs. One decided not to play. Let's recap it again. Dillon will be at home versus Fox Creek. Lakeview will be at home versus Easthill, Estill. Marion at home versus Barnwell. Mullins will travel to Philip Simmons. And Latta will travel to Sherrall. PD will take on John Paul II. So this is where you make your run for the state championship. Like I said, we think
because everybody has their record, their regular season records, but everybody's record on Friday night 0-0.
Yep. Like I said, we think there's 4 teams that are contenders to really make a run for the state championship.
You say 3 of them are stronger contenders than the other.
But we plan on putting up a poll on this episode to see who everyone else thinks has the strongest contention of making it to the state championship game or winning the state championship game. So
I'd like to hear some people's thoughts on the last thing that we covered or on the football game. Just give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think.
And no disrespect to any certain individual, because like I said, we don't know the situation, through and through. But just as an opinion, as an alumnus who played football there, just don't completely like it. But like I said, I think that I can see both sides. But at the end
we
of the day,
both went out on a different ending than that night.
That's very true.
We both didn't go out on an ending with 11 healthy players, but still, we'd have been on the bus.
Right. Yeah. Good luck to DCS in basketball this year. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you next week.